Let's find out, you little crabs. Alright. Um, so, let's see what's going on in your world. See what needs to be seen. Alright, we have the portal card. I love this card. This is the wild card. Doors of opportunity are opening, and you get to decide what your rewards are, right? It's kind of like the universe being like, congratulations, you're awesome. So, let's see. That was a loud, that was a loud slam. I was like, all my synapses went flying away just then. Just kidding. Obviously. But yeah, anyway. Oh. Dang it. You know what? This is part of the reading, guys. If I don't fuck up shuffling, then, you know, I ain't practicing enough. You gotta fuck up at least a couple times. Alright, so. Cancer. What is your vibe today? Okay, so we have the Tower, Two of Swords. So what I'm gathering from this, right, is in your recent past or current, something had to fall apart, right? Something that leads you to your peace, right? Like something that was out of alignment with you. And I feel like this is why doors of opportunity are opening up. Because when we allow things that are out of alignment with us to go away, then we leave room for better things to come in, right? With the Two of Swords, this is energy of being very, like, guarded, kind of like at a crossroads, you know, even I feel this energy of, like, you know, whatever this tower was, whatever you had to let go of, whatever you needed to reestablish in your life, it left you feeling very guarded, very, like, self-preserving. Let's see, what else? Two of Cups in reverse. Could be a breakup. It's kind of what it feels like, you know, especially with the emotional guardedness. But I feel like this is really, like, as unfortunate as it may be, it could be a window of opportunity for you, to grow, to learn, and to be open to something, be receptive to something that's more in alignment with you. When something falls out of alignment with you, relationships end, right? Cards flying everywhere. Dang. All right. I feel like this could have been a back and forth relationship. You might struggle with going back and forth because we have Five of Pentacles, Seven of Swords and Six of Swords in reverse. Seven of Swords means that there's deception, right? There's lying, cheating, stealing, that sort of thing. And with the Five of Pentacles, it's kind of like they left you feeling left out in the cold or emotionally abandoned, right? Like you couldn't like trust them, you couldn't, and if there was any like financial like interdependence, right, you might be dealing with that where it's like, oh fuck, now I have to learn how to go from a two income household to a one income household, right? Or whatever the case. It does feel like some stuff was lost in this. Something, very valuable to you. It feels like you're just at a loss. We have Ten of Pentacles in reverse with the Eight of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles in reverse is letting go of something that you once thought was like your wish fulfillment, or like, it could be a community of people, like if they've got those bandwagon friends that are like, oh no, I can't be your friend, da, 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 da. Those people are stupid. But Eight of Pentacles, tells me that you're really focused on work right now. That's really where you re-ground yourself, is when you feel productive at work. You can distract yourself with work, and really bringing in abundance for yourself. Yeah, so Page of Swords, somebody's not happy, right? And with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, this Page of Swords, this person who's like, Page of Swords is like somebody who is like competitive, jealous, spiteful, vengeful, kind of in that energy. And it's like, so whoever is coming at you in that energy, right, they could be part of the community, right, part of like just, whatever, but they themselves are feeling very unfortunate at this time. It's like any hate that they tried to throw at you is coming back on them. It's being reflected right back to them. Like they could be trying to pull some magic shit on you. Whatever the case is, but I do feel like they're reaping, right? They're reaping. Even if this was the person that you were with, sometimes we have those partners that can be spiteful and competitive, oddly, right? I always thought that was weird to be like competitive with a partner, but it does happen. I think it's weird because you should want them to win, like you should want to be with a winner, not a loser, right? So like you should support them and, embrace their wins with them. I feel like this, if that's, the energy that they came at you with, or this could even be a person that they cheated with or whatever with that Seven of Swords, put it where it resonates. It does look like somebody's very spiteful, though, and somebody does want vengeance, right? But they're not going to be lucky in that, right? Like, they're going to be distracted with all their own bad fortune that they're casting upon themselves. Should I stay or should I go? So we have the Muse of Materials showing up, right? This is like the divine guiding you to the land of milk and honey, right? To abundance, to, you see this person on her path and she is being led and protected as she's being led into this abundant time frame, right? Knight of Wands in reverse tells me that, like, especially with the Eight of Cups, you're walking away from people, you're ending communication, right? And I feel like, honestly, like, as soon as you feel malintent, you should, walk away. Four of Cups in reverse, this is accepting an offer, right? This is accepting something. But it comes after you walk away from something and you cut off communication with somebody, right? So, I want to know what this offer is that you're accepting. With the Eight of Pentacles, it could be in regards to work. But let's see. That doesn't make sense. Give me more clarifiers. Accepting your fate, accepting it as it is. With the Page of Pentacles in reverse, it's dropping somebody, right? With the Queen of Emotions or Queen of Cups in reverse, that's that you no longer feel how you once felt about people or this person, right? Three of Swords, accepting the heartbreak. Accepting things as they are, right? This Four of Cups is really coming in the energy of just acceptance of a situation for what it is. Knight of Cups is coming out too in reverse. So I feel that energy too, that like with the Queen of Cups in reverse and the Knight of Cups in reverse, I feel like you are no longer extending yourself to this person. If you were somebody who pursued them a lot, like I feel like you're just done with that. Three of Pentacles in reverse. This kind of goes back to, if you met them at work or if they were a roommate or somebody you lived with, like, this is like financially cutting a tie, like cutting a tie with somebody that you have like a financial connection with. Yeah, the World Cosmos, this is closing out a cycle. And with the Empress, I feel like this is going to bring about a lot of inspiration, a lot of creativity, a lot of growth. Like, I feel like a lot of good shit is coming out of this. And it really comes from this energy of acceptance, right? When you accept that this tower needed to fall, you accept that these people were not good for you in your life, you accept that you no longer feel the way that you felt about them, right? Like, you're feeling like you could live without them. And you are. Like, you are living without them. You're going to do great. With the Three of Swords and the Five of Cups, even if it hurts, right? Even if it fucking hurts, you're confronting these feelings, right? I do see somebody crying in both of these, right? Whether that's you or them, I don't know. Somebody's fucking crying. Somebody's heartbroken. But this is like emotional disappointment, right? And I feel like this emotional disappointment is actually going to trigger a creative outpour from you. Because, like, if you notice, she is creating the cosmos, right? And I feel like there's so much, I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard Charles Bukowski's poem, Bluebird. It kind of reminds me of that, like how our best creations come at times where we suffer the most, right? And a lot of abundance is going to come out of this creation with that Eight of Pentacles. One of the lines in the poem is, there's a bluebird in my heart, but I won't let him out. What do you want to do? Destroy my book sales or whatever. Basically saying that he'd be less successful as a writer if he didn't have pain, right? If he didn't have struggle. And I feel like, and not to say that you should stay stuck in that feeling. By all means, you should never stay stuck. I'm just saying that there's worth in what you're feeling. And I feel like there's growth in what you're learning, right? Like, you're never going to be faced with a relationship like this again because you're going to notice the red flags. You're going to listen to your intuition. When your intuition says, hey, let's walk away, you're going to be the first one. Two of Pentacles, making a decision, right? Weighing the pros and cons. Four of Wands in reverse, it could be in regards to moving. You could be making the decision to leave, right? Chariot energy is the Cancer energy, right? So you might be deciding to move, deciding to explore, do something different. Ten of Swords in reverse tells me that this feeling of pain or defeat or any kind of suffering, you're going to grow out of this feeling, right? You're going to come full circle. This indicates a lot of healing, right? From the betrayal. The Sun card came out in reverse, but there's no reverse meaning for the Sun card. So, with Leo energy here, and we have Aries. We've got quite a bit out here. What I'm seeing here is that you're going to be abundant, right? This is somebody who's in touch with the divine, somebody who is really soaking in that light. And really, I mean, their solar plexus is like, looks like a little sun itself. And I feel like tapping into your solar plexus and healing that during this time is going to be really important, and really trusting your gut, right? Listening to your intuition. I feel like this is, the Sun card is the best card in the deck. There's no better card to get, especially at the end of a reading. This is like, shit's gonna be fine, right? Like, if you need any reassurance of that, like, that's, what might hurt today is your resurrection tomorrow, right? So let's pull some Kali cards. I've had coffee today. Now I'm yawning. I gotta go make some. I was trying to beat the habit, but it's one of my favorite habits. Alright. Gory Devi. Check your boundaries. That's a big one. That's a huge one. If this is a lesson in boundaries, big one. Okay, I'll finish reading this, but I want to get back to that. Okay. And affirm your right to express and receive both kindness and respect. Embrace your softer side and your ability to stand up for yourself. You are a unique being. You do not need to conform to stereotypes. As you relax into your authentic self, the best method to accomplish what is needed shall spontaneously arise from within, right? So that's why you really need to listen to your solar plexus at this time. Also, back to boundaries, okay? So, something I did in my single season, which is probably the most valuable thing I've ever done in my life, right? And I feel like this could be really helpful advice for you. Um, is that I straight up was like, all right, I've been bad at relationships, at like knowing the cues, how to talk, how to all that stuff. So I started doing my research, right? I'm an Aquarius, so like research is my thing. I can turn anything into science. And so I studied the fuck out of healthy relationships. I studied the fuck out of unhealthy relationships. I studied the fuck out of all of it, right? To really understand like where I was going wrong so that I could correct it in the future. Because, like, obviously I wasn't gonna die alone. I mean, potentially, but I didn't think so. I still, like, felt like, there's still something in me. I could still, and on the potentiality, even if you're like, oh, I could die alone, this information could be beneficial to your other relationships, right? Working relationships, your friendships, your family ships, all the ships. Um, and one of the most important things I learned was non negotiables, right? And this is setting boundaries day one, right? Beginning. Like, when you enter into a union with somebody, you need to know what their non-negotiables are, and you need to also have non-negotiables, right? And that means here's a line in the sand. If you cross this boundary, it's done. Like, that's non-negotiable. I won't fuck with that. Right? And it's a beautiful thing. And like, there are, different non-negotiables that you could have. One for me is name calling during arguments, right? I feel like a healthy debate is healthy. Disagreements are healthy. Name calling and, degrading somebody or putting somebody down, especially when you love them, right? Like, show them that you love them and you respect them, even in arguments, even in, even when they're like, whatever. Like, the love and the respect needs to stay. Um, like, and also, if it's a good argument, you don't need to name call, right? Your points will make their points. You don't, I feel like when people have to resort to that shit, that's when they've already lost. And not only have they lost the argument, but they lost the person, because then they create a downward spiral, right? That person is going to remember what you've said and forever, right? And it's going to affect them forever. Even in the good times, they're going to be like, remember when you called me a cunt, right? It's like that shit that plays in their head. You don't want to abuse somebody just because you disagree with somebody, right? And I feel like name calling is a huge form of abuse. Um, so make your points and make them well, but you don't have to be mean, right? Um, Also, like, having the boundary of, like, you know, like, you need this amount of time set aside for just you to have, like, self-care days or whatever. Like, if every week, like, you're like, you know what, I take myself out for coffee and I go to the bookstore, do whatever, that's my weekly thing, I need to keep that. That's non-negotiable, right? And then, make it clear, right? If you like to hang out with your friends, like, be like, my friends are non-negotiable, right? And they stay in. If you like to go out, whatever, create it. Like, if you think about your ideal relationship and create boundaries about that, you know, um, somebody who loves you, who really loves you, you're going to feel freedom with them, right? You're going to feel like every encounter with them is good, and you're getting something, like, not getting something like in a materialistic way, but like your heart is getting something from every interaction, right? You feel like abundant in like an emotional front, right? Um, gas each other up, right? I feel like that's also the most important thing is gassing up your partner. You know, be proud of them, be proud of their accomplishments, support their goals, you know, that sort of stuff. I feel like one of the biggest problems that relationships face is that instead of gassing each other up and being proud of each other, they're like, oh well, you're not doing this and you're not doing that and you know, and it's like if we're all adults here, let's all be adults here, you know. So yeah, and I have that's pretty much my relationship advice for today. But really look into healthy boundaries to have, you know, really research. Like, I feel like that was one of the best ways I spent my time in my single season was just like, how the fuck do I get this right? You know, like, because I'm tired of getting it wrong. So, you know, there's like, you have to get it wrong a few times to get it right eventually, right? It's like building a business or like any other venture that you want to be successful in, right? There has to be trial and error. And so this was error. Trial's over, you know, like now, you know, start really preparing and thinking about, you know, and I also feel like in doing so, we also work on ourselves, right? When we do that kind of research for like relationship building. Because then we have to also like put ourselves through it. We have to be like, we have to hold ourselves to a certain standard. We ourselves have to be honest and open and transparent. We ourselves have to um, respect their boundaries, right? As well. And as well as like being very concrete about our own boundaries, right? Like, there's just so much that I felt like I really did more work on myself learning how to be with other people than anything, you know? And, you know, like, also, like, I don't know if you've seen any of those videos where, you know, people are just like losing their shit, beating up their boyfriends outside of clubs and stuff, and it's like, that's not appealing, right? Like, I don't know who the fuck looks at that and is like, I want a relationship just like that, you know? It's like, so it really helps us to, like, you know, I'm not saying like that's ever an option, right? Like, I'm just saying, I was watching this video not too long ago, and this girl was losing her damn mind, and like, and you know, just like going apeshit on everyone, including her boyfriend after the club, and like, I feel like that. Like, watching things like that really helps us to check ourselves and be like, all right, well, I'm definitely never gonna act like that in public. I'm definitely never gonna, or not even in public, just like in general, right? Like, because like what you don't, I don't know, you don't want that to ever be a reflection of your own character, you know, acting all out of fucking whack like that. When you master yourself, then you master life, right? And I feel like there's just this whole, I don't know, people are weird. People are weird, and we have to like learn how to be strong about not being like people that are in that lower vibration, right? When you see it firsthand, then you're like, oh. When you watch a video of like somebody complaining over and over and over and over and over and over, then it makes you really realize like, I don't want to be in the energy of complaining all the time. That's embarrassing, right? Like there has to be good news. There has to be like, you know, but you know, it's kind of like training out like any negative bias in your brain and having a positive bias, right? Because you can do that. Um, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. But you know, do your research. You're a Cancer. You are smart as fuck, and you know how to get what you want in life. Right? We are not. We all know that about you. Okay. So do it. Get what you want in life and be the thing that you want to get in life too. You know, that's another piece of good. I'm just spewing it today, all this relationship advice, but that's another piece of advice too. Um, Write down specifically what your soulmate is like, right? Like, and I'm not talking about in the vain ways of like physical appearance and all that shit. I mean, in the real ways, like how do they talk? What is their mannerisms? Like, what do they like to do? What do you like to do together? You know, like, whatever. Get real deep about it. Like, ideally, this is the relationship you want. This is the kind of person you want it with. You want somebody who's honest, who's kind, who's compassionate, who loves cats, whatever, you know. And then, once you've written down that list, become that list, right? Embody it. Because energy attracts like energy, and if you want to attract somebody on that level, you gotta raise a bar on yourself sometimes, right? Now, I didn't even realize I needed to raise the bar until I did some research, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm slacking, right? I sucked, past tense, at like really hearing people out because I was always a person trying to solve everyone's problems, and I learned that that's actually not healthy to be like, oh well, here's a problem solver. Da, 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 da. People actually hate that. Sometimes they want you to just sit down and listen, you know. And like I've learned a lot of things where I was like, damn, you know, I could come off as like egotistical as fuck, you know, even if like I don't fucking mean to. It just, you know, and oftentimes we don't mean to sit in our ego. It's just it happens pretty naturally. But check yourself before you wreck yourself, you know? Like, so start really pay attention to how things went south in this connection to really like make changes for your future self, you know, and your future relationship. And, you know, should that happen or whatever, you know. But this on and off again karmic relationship shit, it's not healthy and it's not going to make you happy, right? I I can tell you until I'm blue in the face, and I feel like you know, right? Like, um, these karmic relationships are actually kind of designed to fail. They're designed to teach you a lesson in relationships, and then you leave, and then you move on to something that it vibrates higher, something that's more in alignment with you. And there are like almost 9 billion people on the planet now, so like, bro, you are not limited to just, you know, like, it's not like saying, oh, you'll die alone, like, you have options, clearly. Be wise, right? You are wise, you're a Cancer. I'm actually a Cancer rising. I'm very proud of that, but, yeah, it's like, Cancers can be very, from my experience, very hard on the sleevey, right? And um, sometimes it can reflect in your relationships too, where you're like, just, you know, oh, I'll do anything for love. Like, you know, boundaries? What's boundaries? There's no limitation for the love of my life, you know? I get that. And that's why I think that this is an important thing to tell you. Um, and so, yeah, but that's pretty much what I have for you. And I hope this was helpful. Namaste. I love you guys. I better shut up before I keep going.